from 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 6. But this I say, he that soweth sparingly shall reap also sparingly, and he that soweth bountifully shall reap also bountifully. Let each man do according as he hath proposed in his heart, not grudgingly or of necessity. For God loveth a cheerful giver. And God is able to make all grace abound unto you, that ye, having always all sufficiency in everything, may abound unto every good work. As it is written, he hath scattered abroad, he hath given to the poor, his righteousness abideth forever. And he that supplies seed to the sower and bread for food shall supply and multiply your seed for sowing, and increase the fruits of your righteousness, ye being enriched in everything unto all liberality, which worketh through us thanksgiving to God. For the ministration of this service not only filleth up the measure of the wants of the saints, but abundeth also through many thanksgivings unto God.
I had to look and make sure that slide was the right slide.
It's a real thing.
Just a few matters of business before I get into the actual budget presentation. I'll try to go as fast as I can. After services, I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have. I'll be down front, and if you have some specific questions, I'll be glad to try to answer those for you. Copies of this year's budget will be in the foyers. You can pick up after services also, if you would like a paper copy. I don't usually talk about the budget process, but I thought this time I would give you a little bit of background on how we do it. We look at actual expenses from the past year. We factor in any new ideas, anything that we want to add to the budget. Also, any needs that we know about. We also add some inflation for things that we know that are going up, like utilities. Then we have to start cutting it back to what we think we can afford to do based on what we've historically given in the past. And then we've always added a bit of a challenge. We don't ever decrease our budget unless it's drastically necessary because of changes in giving. But we always try to be a little bit more aggressive every year and add new things to the works that we do here. So if you put up that next slide, I'll get into the details. One of the things that we always start with is to look back at what our history is, since I mentioned our budget is based on our giving history. These numbers come from the bulletins that you get. Tally those numbers up. Art used to do it for us, and now I do it, to look at attendance and giving. I just want to say that I'm happy that our giving has continued to increase from the low there in 2014. It's increased almost $435 a week from the lowest point, and it's almost increased $100 over the past year. So we've continued to give more and more, and that's allowed us to do more and more things in the budget. Our attendance has really grown since the lowest point there in 2013. We've added almost 30 people over the last several years, so growing at almost 10 new members per year for the last couple of years. So that's very exciting for us to see that trend. All right, Chad, if you put that last slide up, this is the one that's going to take a little bit. This is a comparison between last year's budget and this year's budget. Try to highlight some of the changes. I'm just going to run down the list. Youth activities, it looks like we're cutting youth activities back, but the big change is they got a cheaper cabin for the Christian Youth Conference in Gatlinburg, so we're saving a ton of money there. Everything else is pretty much the same. Benevolence has increased just a little bit. Education and supplies has increased just a little bit. Evangelism, it looks like a huge increase, but it's not really that big of an increase. What we've done is we standardized our speaker fees, our supplies have gone up a little bit, but we're also planning to do a picture directory update this year, which is almost $1,000. But Ginger will make sure that'll be a lot less than $1,000, right? Yeah, okay, good. I won't tell you how much we actually put in the budget for that. We'll negotiate that. But the picture directory is part of the big increase for last year's budget. The Granada Nicaragua Church, a couple things there. We're agreed to raise the preacher's salary by a little bit, and also we're planning a big mission trip there this summer. It's a medical mission, which will be a very intense week-long work in that city. And we're hoping to send 10 or 15 people, so that's why the big increase in Granada budget for next year. Petapudi, India, again, we're also raising the salary. We support 4 preachers in India. The main church is in Petapudi, but we support 4 preachers there. We're giving each one of them a small raise. The other part of the huge increase for that is we plan to take a big group to Petapudi. We put off our trip last year, and we plan to take a group this year, a big group to Petapudi. Now, also part of this increase, because I didn't have anywhere else to put it in the budget, is we're going to try to take a couple of us to go visit Caleb in Japan. And so I didn't have I ran out of lines on this slide to put that. So this is doubled up in the Petapudi budget, but I want you to understand that the trip to Caleb, to visit Caleb, is also included under this account. Stateside and local missions stayed about the same. Office administration, we're not cutting anybody's salary, but we had put in the budget last year that we were going to buy 2 vans. We only bought 1. We put off buying the second van out of this year, so that's why that money's not in this year's budget. So that's been removed, and that's why it looks like a decrease, but it's not a real decrease. Building and grounds, slight increase there. If you've been down in the fellowship hall, you can see that we're working on that, trying to get that done. We're going to start working on some security upgrades to the building and other congregational suggestions that we've received in the past. And let me talk about congregational security since I mentioned that. What we do now, in case you're not aware, is when services begin, we lock all the doors, except for the wooden doors in the back, so nobody can get in without us knowing. And then we guard the back door. So we're looking at some other things. We've asked Todd Lard to review security and make recommendations, and when he does that, we'll start making some other changes. But I wanted you to know that we're doing that. We're aware of the church security issues that have cropped up, and we are taking steps to try to improve that. Put your minds at ease. We are doing some things, and we will be doing some more things in the future. Where did I get down to? Utilities. Utilities gone up a little bit. We expect the utilities to escalate a little bit. Insurance has gone down. We've shopped our insurance and brought the cost down. We will probably, we'll probably look at, of course, our insurance probably every year. That's a huge standalone item in the budget by itself, but we're real happy with what we've got right now. Christian Student Center, it looks like a huge increase for the Student Center, but it's not. I apologize for that. I explained that to Craig before he left on his retreat. It's just reflecting a more accurate representation of what other congregations help support the Student Center. So we had a really high number last year for the other congregations to pick up support for the student center. That didn't come true, so we backed that down a little bit. So Central will pick up more support of the student center, but basically nothing else has changed in that regard. So it pretty much stays the same. It's just that we're picking up a bigger part of that pie. Craig and the students, especially the student directors, work with congregations and try to raise funds, and they'll continue to do that. So total expenses, it's about $6,000 more than last year, which only works out, as you can see, the weekly contribution is only $100 more a week. And thanks to, let me do another aside here, thanks to generous gifts outside the contribution, we were able to renovate the student center. It's got a few little things left to be done and settle the bill on that, but that was all done by a gift, over $500,000. Also, because of gifts given, the trip to Grenada, the trip to India, the trip to Japan are not going to be a huge burden on the congregation. They're mostly covered by gifts. So that's why our budget increase is modest, but still an increase. And I think it's very doable. I've got one more little note to run through here. Just a caution that if we fall way below our giving, we'll have to cut or postpone things that we have planned for this year. I told David I wasn't going to use a scripture, but I am. I'm going to use Luke 14, verses 28, 29, 30. Context, of course, is Jesus talking about the price of discipleship, but I'm using it in a slightly different way because the earthly example is still appropriate. For which of you, intending to build a tower, does not sit down first and count the cost, whether he has enough to finish it, lest after he has laid the foundation and he is not able to finish, all who see it begin to mock him, saying, "This man began to build and was not able to finish." We want to be able to continue all the works that we're currently doing. We want to continue to grow in new efforts without the fear of being mocked by those outside the church and embarrassing ourselves by failing to finish something that we've started. So that's always in the back of our minds when we propose a new budget. If you were here when Kyle Butt visited and talked about giving, he said one thing that still sticks with me. He says, God will get done what God wants done. He allows us to help. And I'm calling on you as a congregation to help do what the elders have decided is the best areas to concentrate on. If you can do that, I would appreciate that. Let me summarize by saying, the budget increase is only $100 a week. 10 of us just give $10 more. We can easily meet this budget. And it's very doable. And like I said, after services, if you'd like to ask me some questions about it, I'd be happy to answer. Thank you.
Looks like the word got out they were going to be speaking. Some people decided to stay at home. We still got some sick, and we got the college youth and the retreat. Before we get started, I just wanted to mention something that has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Last Sunday, I did the announcements, and after we were dismissed, I went back to wait on Wanda. And Gavin, he come over, and he gave me a hug, and he said, "You did a good job." So I thought, it's great to get a compliment, and I challenge everybody here to compliment somebody this week. Amen. 1 Timothy 6, chapter 6, verses 6 through 10. Now godliness with contentment is great gain, for we brought nothing into this world. It is certain we can carry nothing out. And having food and clothing, with these we shall be content. But those who desire to be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and harmful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. for which some have strayed from the faith in their greediness, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. John B. Rockefeller once said, I have made many millions, and they have all brought me no happiness. Cornelius Vanderbilt said, the care of millions of dollars is too great a load. There is no pleasure in it. Jacob Astor said, I am the most miserable man on earth. Henry Ford, after having made all of his millions, says, I was happier when doing mechanics. And John D. Rockefeller said, the poorest man I know is the man who has nothing but money. I doubt any one of us here today possess this type of money. But we still can be guilty with a lot of money. If we all took out our checkbooks, if we all had our credit and debit card transactions, we would definitely be able to tell where our heart is. Matthew 6, verse 24. No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve God and man. Our focus in life is not to serve man. Our focus in life is not to put our faith in money or in this world. Our focus in life is to put our faith in God. Matthew 16, 24 through 26. Then Jesus said to his disciples, if anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever desires to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what profit is it to a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own soul? Or what will a man in exchange for his soul? Jesus said that your soul is worth more than the rest of the world put together. The physical world, the geographical world, the business world, the scientific world, and the intellectual world. Jesus said the soul is worth more than all the world. If you're as old as I am, you remember a show called The Partridge Family. Star of the show was David Cassidy. In his prime, he had a popular TV show, #1 hit on radio. It was a teenage heartbeat. This past year, he died. His daughter said his last words were, so much wasted time. Don't waste your time on worldly things. Don't waste your time on the pleasures of this world. Don't gamble with your soul. Life is short. Spend your time and money wisely, and give God all. Amen.